I am so excited because I know so many of you want to publish your first book or your second book. If part of your ambition as an ambitious Christian woman is to follow God's call to finally publish that book, then please stay tuned. I have some tips for you that are really going to help. Let's get started.
Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more great stuff that I'm planning to bring to you.
So I just read an amazing book called A Book Coach's Secrets, a guide for self-publishing authors. And I got so many juicy tidbits on how we as authors can go ahead and finally publish that first book.
This is the author, Leanna Mae Sexton. She's the author of 4 books, and her 5th is coming out this October. She wants to teach you a brilliant and straightforward method to get your book done and get it on CreateSpace. That'll get it on Amazon. So check out the link in the notes below, and you'll be able to see a place where you could buy this book and her others. And when you do so through my link, you support this channel. So thank you so much for your purchase.
Breaks her book into 3 main parts. The first is about the writing process. One of the things I really love about this section of her book is that she talks about getting that copyright and some of the legalities of getting that book done and getting an ISBN number. Who even thinks about an ISBN number, seriously? The last part of that first section is all about actually finishing the book you start. So if you're one of those people who has started a book but doesn't have that oomph to get it done all completely, or you're afraid of starting something that you're not going to finish, this is really going to help you. So it's so important that not only you're making the time every day to write, and she tells you how, but also you're taking that time to really take that next step and make sure that your work is protected.
In short, we want to make writing a habit, and that's going to take new discipline. And we're also going to want to have the right approach, starting to take it seriously as a business and something that you want to protect.
Part 2 is all about self-publishing. Leanna does a really lovely job of describing the pros and cons between doing things with a publisher and doing things as a self-publisher. But for the purposes of this video and for her book, we're really focusing on self-publishing because there's so much you can do with that today, and you really get to keep a larger piece of that money inside. She talks about the really important things like turning it from a hobby into a small business, which is something that you're actually going to have to think about.
In short, make sure you know what's available to you as far as your tools. Get in community. You do not have to go this alone, especially in today's day and age where there's a group for everything. And finally, make sure that you know your costs. You know, when you find out it costs $400 minimum to make that book, you're going to want to price it right as well.
As we get into part 3, it gets really juicy because we're talking about how to market a book. She actually has visualization exercises. Like page 46, here is write down your visualization of the ideal book signing. What do you see? And we all know that visualization is very powerful. Experience what it's going to be like to have that book and have an amazing book signing. So when you write this book, what is your expectation? Now, she tells us in chapter 16 to really curb your expectation. She says that the average book sells 3,000 copies in its lifetime. In chapter 19, she tells us the realities of being a published author, the wonderful, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So just a couple of the wonderful things that you can expect. Your self-esteem, it's gonna be sky high. You've successfully completed one of your dreams. It's a wonderful feeling to hold it in your hands. Some of the good things she talks about are just that people get excited when they find out you're a published author. And then it's always nice when your book actually sells and you're making money off of something that you did for fun, that you just love to do. Now we're gonna get into the bad. She said that one of the things to look out for is that people are actually gonna try to haggle you on the price of the book. And this sounds like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with people? That's so rude. But really, they're gonna see you and see your book, and they're gonna think it's kind of like a yard sale, which it is not. Since you're having to start a business to sell that book, it means you have to have a vendor's license, you need to collect sales tax, file business taxes, set aside money for income taxes, buy business cards and promotional items. You need to buy the book up front so you have those hard copy books to sell. So in her book, I read that it's gonna cost you a minimum of $400 to self-publish a book. So start saving up now. And finally, Leanna talks about the ugly. And one of those things are unfortunately trolls. Yes, trolls. You've probably heard about internet trolls. These people have nothing else to do with their time but to make fun of you and try to pick apart the work you've done. Now, they say everyone's a critic, but when you receive criticism from people you respect on something that you've done, that kind of changes the game. So be ready, love yourself, she says, and know that what you've done is really something that God put on your heart. And if you've done it for the Lord, then that's it. You've done your job. So think to yourself for a moment, what is your motivation for writing this book? And how would you define success when it's done? Leanna told me in a conversation that she's met people who have made $80,000 a year, but they're still unhappy. Success to you as an author should be so much different than riches and fame. Really, money is just a bonus. Writing really is your art, and it's a deeply satisfying feeling when you complete a work and get to hold it in your hands.
In review, be realistic. Remember, the average self-published book sells about 6,000 physical copies in its lifetime. You're going to need to put yourself out there. So if you're a self-described introvert like Leanna, this might be a challenge for you, but she does try to make it easy by letting you know what the must-dos are. Stay grounded and focused, knowing what success means for you. Those visualizations will help. And of course, make sure you're following God signs, not dollar signs. Yes, that's my tagline, shameless plug.
So the rest of part 3 is really about how to market yourself online as an author. And marketing is something I love. Between building a website, the key parts of your showing your brand, and doing targeted marketing. I love how she breaks this out and organizes everything with checklists and bullet points, and also areas where you're having to reflect. So if you're thinking about writing a book, I highly recommend this book to you, The Book Coach's Secrets, a guide for self-publishing authors. I think this is really going to help you not just understand the full picture, but also work through each step so you get past anything that's blocking your way, so you can be fully educated about what it really means to be a self-published author, and so that you can know how to be a success as a self-published author and make money on the side from something that you've built with your own hands. Hopefully this is going to help you fulfill God's call in your life. So I hope that this video has served you. Again, if you haven't done so yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And you're always welcome inside our Facebook group called We Are Ambitious Christian Women. The easiest way to get there is just go www.ambitiouschristianwomen.org. I'll see you inside. This is Laura Gabriel signing off. Bye! Do it. Just do it.